Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here with me today. My name is Hannah and I'm a CalFresh advocate at the UC Irvine Basic Needs Center. Today I will be walking you through the basics of CalFresh and how to apply on your own. First, I will give a quick presentation on what CalFresh is and how to use your benefits. Then I will walk through a demo application that you can follow along with using getcalfresh.org on your own computer. After, I will cover some important post-application information and procedures. Depending on what eligibility you are applying under, you will need to provide specific documents that can be found on our website, basicneeds.uci.edu, under CalFresh eligibility. Before I hop into the presentation, I want to highlight the UC Irvine's Basic Needs Center's CalFresh application assistance appointments. We have advocates who can meet with you one-on-one via Zoom or in person at our on-site building and walk you through the application while answering any questions you have. You can book an appointment by visiting the basicneeds.uci.edu website or scanning the QR code here on the screen. The key moments of this application process will be included in the description box, so feel free to hop around, pause, or rewind this video according to your own needs. If you have any issues or concerns, feel free to shoot us an email and we will get back to you as soon as possible. So let's get started by talking about what CalFresh is. CalFresh is a federally funded food assistance program that provides financial assistance to individuals to purchase healthy food and maintain adequate nutrition levels. Some call it SNAP, but here in California we call it CalFresh. If approved, you receive CalFresh benefits on an EBT card, like the Golden State Advantage card on the left. This card works just like a debit card, and every month anywhere between $23 and $281 will be uploaded to your card to spend on groceries at EBT-eligible stores. Most grocery stores like Albertsons, Trader Joe's, Costco, Target, and even some farmers markets accept EBT. There is an exhaustive list online that you can always refer to as well. A great feature of CalFresh is that the benefits roll over from month to month, so you do not have to worry about losing money if you don't spend it all in one month, and you can budget according to your lifestyle. You can also use your benefits all over the country, as CalFresh is a statewide program. The main limitations come from what you can and can't buy. As you can see on the screen here, you can buy most food items, and you cannot buy non-food items. The only catch is the hot and prepared meals are not covered by EBT. So that means when you go into Albertsons, for example, they have a deli counter with hot rotisserie chickens and warm prepared meals. These items are not covered by EBT. Something to note is that you do not have to separate the items in your cart by what is EBT eligible and what is not. You can go ahead and scan all the items and then use your EBT card, and it will cover whatever items are covered by EBT. For the items that are not covered, it will prompt you to provide a secondary form of payment. A new feature that they have recently added in light of COVID is using your EBT benefits to purchase groceries online. Grocery stores that offer online shopping like Amazon, Walmart, Albertsons, and Vons will accept EBT online when choosing pickup. If you choose to have your groceries delivered, you will have to cover the delivery fee on your own, as this is not covered by EBT. The same rules apply for what you can and can't buy with your benefits. Now that we have covered what CalFresh is and how you can use your benefits, we can go ahead and talk about what you need to be eligible for CalFresh. CalFresh has 2 base eligibilities in addition to the 1 student eligibility you have. The first is that you must be a U.S. citizen or a legal permanent resident, and the second is that your household income must fall below income guidelines. On the screen here, you can see these income guidelines that are effective as of February 2023. These may change depending on when you are viewing this video. Please refer to our website for the most up-to-date information. If you are applying on your own today, as long as you make below $2,266 per month, you'll meet this income eligibility. When it comes to defining a household, it can be a little confusing. So a household consists of those whom you buy, share, or prepare food with. If you are living with roommates and you don't share food with them, you can also apply as a household size of 1. If you're 21 and under and living with your family, you must include everyone in the household. If you're 22 and you live with your family but you do not share food with them, you can apply as a household size of 1. The amount of benefits you receive will vary based on your household size. When applying as a household greater than 1, you will have to apply with the head of the household as the primary applicant, and you will need to provide the Social Security number, pay stubs, if applicable, and identification of each member of the household in addition to your own information. If you are not the head of household, you can designate yourself as the authorized representative and apply on behalf of your head of household. Another thing to keep in mind is that when you are applying for CalFresh in Orange County, Your Medi-Cal information will be transferred to Orange County if you have Medi-Cal benefits in another county. If you would like your Medi-Cal to stay in the county it is in, you will have to call your Medi-Cal caseworker and ask them to stop the inter-county transfer. We've now covered what CalFresh is and what you need to be eligible to apply to CalFresh. The next step is to submit the online application with the proper documentation. Once you've submitted this, you will be assigned a caseworker from the Orange County Social Service Agency. You can expect a call from your caseworker for a 15 to 30-minute interview within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Dressing up is not required for this interview, and although there is not a need to prepare for the interview, we do encourage you to have all your documents readily available. The caseworker will generally ask for a verbal confirmation of the information you submitted and might ask any clarifying questions regarding your situation. If you're approved by the caseworker, you will receive 2 pieces of mail. The first piece of mail will be your EBT card, and the second will be your PIN number. Once you have these 2 pieces, you are free to go use your benefits. This whole process generally takes around a month. If you do not hear from your caseworker after 3 weeks, we recommend that you reach out to the county and email us, and we can provide additional directions. Before we submit the application, let's make sure you have all the documents you need. You can pause the video here to see which documents you need. In the next slide, I have a QR code that you can scan that will guide you to a slide deck which will direct you on where to find the documents. In terms of documents for student eligibilities, you will only need to apply with one eligibility, as each eligibility is considered equal, with no eligibility being better than another. Both undergraduates and graduates can have the eligibility of working over 20 hours per week, being employed by UC Irvine, being enrolled in a program that has been approved by the Orange County Social Service Agency as an eligibility, also known as an LPI, or being a parenting student. You can pause the screen here to see examples of the documents to prove each eligibility. Only undergraduates can have the eligibilities of TANF-funded Cal Grant, federal work study, or enrollment in a Student Success Initiative program, also known as an SSI. It is important to note that there are 2 different Cal Grants, one that is TANF-funded and one that is not. TANF stands for Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, and is a program that provides financial assistance to households that earn $50,000 or less annually. Only the TANF-funded Cal Grant is considered an eligibility, and if you have this, you would have received an email from the California Student Aid Commission to the email you applied to FAFSA with that looks like this here. Graduate students enrolled in these programs are also eligible for CalFresh and must request a verification form and class schedule from their respective programs. Directions on who to contact for your program verification and schedule can be found on the slide deck I shared earlier. Something to note is that we are continually adding new programs that are eligible for CalFresh, so please make sure to check our website in case your program has recently been added. Now that we've gathered all of the documents you need to apply, we can begin the application. We encourage you to use getcalfresh.org to apply. If you are ready, you can navigate to the website while I pull up a demo version on my own. You can follow along with me as I apply and input your own information. Now that we have navigated to the getcalfresh.org page, you should see a screen that looks like this here. Please note that mine may look a little bit different because it is the demo version of the application website. For the purposes of this video, I will be applying as if I am an undergraduate with the eligibility of being enrolled in an approved program and living on campus. Whenever you are ready, we can go ahead and click on the green Apply Now button, and it will bring us to an overview of how CalFresh works. I have covered this information earlier on in the video, but if you need a refresher, please feel free to read through this page. Once you scroll down to the bottom, go ahead and click on the Apply as a Student instead, right under the Get Started button. This will bring us to step 1 of 5, which is your basic information. So let's go ahead and press the green Continue button. And instead of typing in your zip code, go ahead and click on Select My County instead. Then you will select the county of your primary residence during the school year. Since I am applying as if I am living in Orange County, I will scroll down and click on Orange. Then we can select the green Continue button. And we can go ahead and click on whichever language you prefer to apply in. If you would prefer to apply in another language other than English, go ahead and click on the drop-down box, and you can choose whichever selection applies to you. Whenever you are ready, go ahead and click on the green Continue button. Now we will go ahead and fill out these required fields, with your first and last name as it appears on your ID. If you prefer a different first name, go ahead and select the box I prefer a different first name. It will then provide you with a field in which you can put your preferred name. Now we will press continue. The next question will be regarding your household size, which we talked about earlier on in the video. But as a reminder, if you are applying on your own today, you'll click on the Just Me button. If you are applying as a household size greater than 2, you'll need to include the names of those who you are applying with. If you are not the head of household, you will be completing this application in the name of the head of the household, and then you will later designate yourself as the authorized representative at the end of the application. Since I'm applying as an undergraduate student living on their own, I will click on Just Me here. The next question will ask if you have applied for CalFresh in the last year or so go ahead and click on whichever answer applies to you. You will not see this screen on your own application, so please disregard. We will click on the green Sounds Good button here, and then we will answer the question regarding supplemental security income. Please click on whichever answer applies to you. If this term is unfamiliar to you, then you most likely do not receive this. You can go ahead and click on No. Then we will answer this question about being 60 years or older or receiving disability benefits. This next question will ask about your citizenship status, so go ahead and answer whichever applies to your situation. Something to note is that getting CalFresh will not affect your immigration status. Now we will go ahead and click on Yes to this question. And if any of these boxes describe your situation, go ahead and mark them. If not, then you can scroll down and click on the None of the Above. Now we will press the green Continue button. Here is where you can select which eligibility you are applying under. In my case, since I am enrolled in an approved program that trains me for a job, I will go ahead and scroll down and click on the I am in a college program that trains me for a job, or LPI. And then I will scroll down and answer the question about living on campus. And in my case, I will click on Yes. Then I will answer the follow-up question regarding my meal plan. This question is to ensure that you are not receiving a meal plan that covers 11 or more meals a week, as this will disqualify you from receiving CalFresh benefits. And then I will go ahead and answer the next question about living with my parents. And then you can go ahead and press on the green Continue button. We can go ahead and answer this question, and that will bring us to step 2 of 5, which is about your income. So we will go ahead and press Continue here. And if you have a job that is not work study, go ahead and click Yes here. If you have a job that is work study, you will select No here. In my case, I do not have a job, so I will click No here. And then it will ask if you have, in the past 30 days, received income from freelance, independent contractor, or self-employment work. And you can go ahead and answer whichever applies to you. Now we will go ahead and answer a series of questions about losing a job in the last 30 days, if you have received unemployment benefits, if you receive money from any of the sources listed on the screen here, or if you pay for court-ordered child support. It will now show you a review of what you have answered so far about your income on your application. And if this all looks correct, go ahead and scroll down and click on This looks correct. Then there should be a screen that says you may likely be eligible for CalFresh, and we can go ahead and press on the Continue button here. That'll bring us to step 3 of 5, which is regarding your expenses. Go ahead and press on the green Continue button here. The first question will ask how much you pay for your rent or mortgage every month. If you are living with roommates, go ahead and put your portion of the rent here. The only time you would put 0 here is if your parent or guardian is paying directly on the portal or via a guest account. If you have financial aid and it is covering your rent, you will still input your rent amount. And then you can go ahead and click on the green Continue button. Now you will be asked if you pay for any utilities, so go ahead and select whichever utilities apply to you. If you pay for electricity, you would select both heating and cooling. If you do not pay for utilities, go ahead and click on None of the Above, and then go ahead and press the green Continue button. Go ahead and answer the question asking if you pay for child or dependent care. Now you should see a review of what you have answered so far about your expenses on the application. And if it all looks correct, go ahead and click on This looks correct. The next question is asking if you have less than a certain amount of cash or money in your savings account. While your answer will not affect your eligibility, it will affect the speed of which your application is processed. By clicking Yes, your application may be qualified for 3-day expedited service. And by clicking No, your application will go through the standard processing. So go ahead and click on whichever answer applies to you. Then you should see a confirmation screen like this one here. And we can go ahead and press on the green Continue button, which will bring us to step 4 of 5, personal information. Here, we can go ahead and press continue, and then we will fill out these required fields. It will ask for your social security number, and if you need to go access that information, you can do that now. When you are ready to go ahead and click on the green button below. Now you will be prompted to fill out your phone number that is best for your assigned caseworker to reach you at. It is important that you try and answer any phone call you receive after you submit your application, as it may be your caseworker calling for your interview. If you miss the call, they will leave a voicemail, but it is best to try to avoid this. Something else to note is that they will not call from a set number. The number that appears on your phone will vary based on your mobile carrier, so it might appear as blocked, no caller ID, or random number. If you do not receive a call within 3 weeks of submitting your application, we encourage you to call the Orange County Social Service Agency or email us, and we can provide additional directions. Once you've inputted the rest of the information asked on the screen, go ahead and click on the green continue button. Current living situation. In my case, since I live on campus and I pay rent, I will click on I rent or own and I stay on campus. And then I will scroll down and I will type UC Irvine here. Then we will press continue. Now we will go ahead and input the address that you primarily reside in during the school year. It will also ask if this is the best place for you to receive mail for the next 3 months. This is important as they will be sending your EBT card and PIN number to this address. If you prefer to have your mail sent to a different address, you can select the No, I use a different address for mail, and it will provide you with additional fields in which you can put your mailing address. Whenever you are ready, go ahead and click on the green continue button. Here, the application provides a space for you to state any time preferences you may have for your interview. This is a good opportunity to provide times that you can answer your phone for the interview, like when you are not in class or working. If you have no preference, you can go ahead and leave it blank. When you are typing out the days and times you are available, you can abbreviate the days of the week. Please refrain from using the dash symbol, as the website cannot process that response. Instead, use the word to, as I am doing on the screen. When you are ready, go ahead and click the continue button. Here, the pre-selected boxes opt you into receiving messages about key steps and way to submit important documents that ensure you receive benefits throughout the year. Go ahead and press confirm and then continue. The next question will be asking if you would like to designate someone as an authorized representative. This means that someone other than you can spend your CalFresh benefits for you or speak to the county about your application. We encourage you to select yes if you are applying as a household greater than 1 and you are filling out this application on behalf of the head of the household. Selecting yes and authorizing yourself as the designated representative will allow you to spend the benefits for your household. If you are applying on your own, you will go ahead and click on no here. In this next section, there is a space for you to share any additional information you think will be helpful for your caseworker to know. This is a good place to explain your eligibility and let your caseworker know that you will be providing proof of your eligibility in the document submission portion of the application. In my case, since I am applying under the eligibility of being enrolled in an approved program, I will type that the program I am in was recently approved by the California Department of Social Services as a program exempt from the student eligibility rules of CalFresh. I will also let my caseworker know that I will be submitting a local list of approved programs which the California Department of Social Services has posted online. And I will let the caseworker know that this program can be found on that list. I will also let my caseworker know that I will be submitting my proof of enrollment in the program. Please feel free to pause the screen here and use this as a template for your own response. If you have questions about your situation or you feel the need to explain your situation in a little more detail, you can also do that here. If you have nothing to say, then you can go ahead and leave it blank. Once you have finished, go ahead and press continue. Now it will ask you to agree to the legal terms and conditions of the application. You can scroll through the summary and mark I agree when you are ready. Then we will go ahead and press on the green continue button. Please go ahead and fill out your first, middle if you have one, and your last name here to sign the application. Now we are on step 5 of 5, submitting proof. So we will go ahead and press continue here, and it will provide an overview of the proof you will need to submit. Go ahead and scroll down and click on submit proof here. Please refrain from using the option take pictures with my phone. This option can lead to your documents not being submitted, and it is generally more reliable to upload the documents from the device you are completing the application on. The first document you will need to submit is a form of identification, which can be a picture of the front of your driver's license, ID card, passport, or birth certificate/birth verification. Any government-issued form of identification is acceptable. You will click Pick a file from this computer and upload your ID. The next document is proof of housing expenses, which can be in the form of a rent receipt or lease agreement with your name on it and how much you pay. It could also be screenshots of your online housing portal. If you pay rent through Venmo or Zelle, please submit a screenshot of the payment that includes your name and how much you pay. Utility bills are not required. If you are unable to obtain any of these documents, you can also write a statement on a piece of paper which states your name, your address, and how much you pay, and then date and sign it. Please upload an image of this written statement to this section. The next document is your financial aid award letter that can be obtained from MyAid from the UCI Office of Financial Aid. If you are applying under the eligibility of accepting federal work study, you will also need to submit your verification of work study approval letter here too. You can upload multiple documents to a section. You will submit the first document, and then you will press Pick a file from the computer again. Next, you'll need to submit proof of enrollment at UC Irvine. For undergraduates, this is going to be a screenshot of your in-progress classes from DegreeWorks. For graduate students, you will have been sent your schedule of classes from your respective program. If you are applying under being enrolled in an approved program, you will also need to provide a screenshot of your major or minor from DegreeWorks to verify your enrollment in the program. Next, you will be asked if there's anything else you would like to submit. Depending on your eligibility, you may or may not have additional documents to submit here. In my case, I will need to submit the list of approved programs. This would also be where you would submit your verification of enrollment in an approved graduate program. Please answer this last question regarding your voting registration status and press Continue. Now you should see a green check mark indicating your application has been successfully submitted and outlining what you can expect next. Great! We submitted the application with the appropriate documents. We will now go over some important post-application information. We encourage you to set up a county-specific portal. For Orange County, it is called My Benefits CalWin. On this portal, you can view the status of your application and, once approved, the balance of your EBT card. You will also be able to find and submit required reports and forms by the county and send any additional documents to your caseworker. Here is what My Benefits CalWin portal looks like. You will create a username and a password. Then you can link this account to your application by providing some personal information. You will use this account to access the following reporting forms. In 6 months, from the month you apply, you will have to fill out what is called the SAR-7. In 6 months after that, you will have to fill out a renewal form called recertification. The only difference between the SAR-7 and the recertification is that the recertification will have an interview with the caseworker. These forms are for the county to stay updated on your situation and make sure you're still eligible and that your benefit amount is appropriate for your situation. These forms can look a little daunting, but they are the same questions and the same uploading of updated documents the application we did today required. The UC Irvine Basic Needs Center's CalFresh advocates also help assist with filling out these forms. The SAR-7 and recertification follow a cycle. As long as you remain eligible and submit these forms on time, you will continue to receive your benefits. We encourage you to put a reminder on your calendar to ensure you do not forget. Here is a timeline of when you would need to submit the documents. For example, since I am applying in February, I will need to submit my SAR-7 by July, and then my recertification by January. These forms will be put on the portal at the start of the month they are due, and you will need to submit it by the 5th of that month. This was a lot of information. If you have any questions or need for clarification, please do not hesitate to email us. We appreciate you letting us walk you through your application, and we hope that this was helpful. If you find that you are not approved or in need of additional resources to meet your basic needs, we encourage you to check out the additional resources offered by the UCI Basic Needs Center. You can scan the blue QR code to find our website. You can also scan the yellow QR code on the right to take an intake survey that can match you with resources you might need based on your responses. We hope that you have a good day and you are able to stay healthy and safe. Bye!